because of the profession of prostitution and the call girls and the escorts and all this, it has been so glamorized that we forget that there is the entire underground situation of it where these women have no choice.
Absolutely. And if you all have any questions, it would
Yeah.
be...
It might be better to, yes, there is a question.
Well, it's more...
Why don't I take one of the microphones?
Yeah. The mics are a little temperamental, so you have to sort of do a little song and dance around them before.
So first of all, I would like to apologize. I don't know enough information about this subject, but I'm hearing about it for the last few years. And I wonder, why do we need to let people understand that it's wrong and change laws and go through bureaucracy? It's wrong. Like, we as human beings need to say that it's wrong and needs to go through all this bureaucracy to make it, like, I don't understand.
It's like fake news. People believe fake news, right? So exactly that, like that on prostitution too, there is a very glamorized, or sometimes just not glamorized, but just a realistic sort of rational, quote unquote, narrative being put out that if women are going to starve and they choose prostitution as a choice between starvation and a bad marriage or another abusive kind of job, then so be it. And sex work, as those who glamorize or normalize this exploitation call it, they say that it should just be legalized, and by legalizing they don't mean legalizing the women, because in most countries women are decriminalized, so they have no, in country after country laws are changing to make sure women are not criminalized or put through the criminal justice system. But what they mean when they say that they want the occupation to be decriminalized is they want pimping and brothel keeping and recruiting and transporting and running these kind of pop-up brothels or real brothels, all of that to be legalized. And they say that unless that is legalized, then how will women get employment? So there's a huge narrative going on in the world out there. It's not the bureaucracy, it's people. And they are being funded partially by the sex industry, partially by public health officials who think that if pimping and brothel keeping is legalized, then through the pimps and brothel keepers, they can get access to prostituted women who can then begin to hold on to condoms and give condoms to customers. But there's also, what's at stake here is even more interesting, is there's a whole neoliberal narrative which is being created, where the market is supreme. So if somebody pays for something, then it's all right. And that is what we are up against right now, that if he pays for it, it's fine. Nobody thinks about the consequences to the woman or girl who gets paid for. And the physical penetration, the body invasion as I call it, it has physical and mental health consequences because it's by different customers. You saw some customers are fat, some are disease-ridden, some are violent. You can't really choose, and how much can you choose? And what's at stake really here is to understand that exploitation is not a matter of choice, but exploitation should be defined by the harm it causes. And this is what differentiates prostitution from other kinds of work like sweatshop work, because it has inherent exploitation, because it's based on body invasion. And this is the narrative we cannot challenge, because everyone thinks it's okay if you pay for it.
Yeah. Everyone thinks it's okay if you pay for it?
Yeah.
Everyone means who? Who is this everyone? Like the world?
Legislators. And also it's interesting what you said, she is paid for, not she is paid.
Yeah.
Because 99% of the time, she doesn't even see any of that money or much of it. It's somebody else that's forcing her to work. Yes, Linda?
Two things. One is they seem to want very young girls. So it seems to me there is a difference between an adult woman choosing to be a prostitute as a businesswoman and a young girl of 12 or 13 taken and put in this environment, number one, I can't understand how no one can see that that is not correct and violating every human right, number one. Number two, the housing that seems to be depicted in this film, they live like slaves in an isolated bedroom having no food. I don't understand. I understand what you're saying, but when they go into these places and they see what it looks like, where is the reality that this is like a prison and a slave labor and their children? I don't understand why, as you're saying, society doesn't say this is absolutely wrong everywhere.
The young girls especially.
Yeah, so many of the girls are not so young in this movie in Doing Money. Very clearly, if you hear the conversation among the police officers, some of the girls have turned 18, they're 19, they're 20, Anna is clearly now 19, 20. And the housing situation, and sometimes, they are in 3 women sleeping very close to each other on a bed, but very often they are in these so-called pop-up brothels, which are fancy hotels or quite nice houses by the beach. So I don't think it's a housing issue or an age issue. The issue is really the fact that these women are being sexually exploited. There is a body invasion. All the customers who come, if you see in the movie, if you see from the point of view of the girl on the bed, she's lying on the bed and she's looking up at her customer who's jumping down on her, right? And that is what the girl finds the most difficult. And that is what she does not want to be in, but she is stuck there for whatever reasons. Either she's picked up from a street in broad daylight in London, or she's seduced by a boyfriend who then pimps her. There are many reasons why this happens. And so the situation is not an age thing, because the exploitation will be equally bad even when she's 19. The same fat guy is going to jump on her and rape her. That's what we see repeatedly in this, and the same bunch of people will beat her up. There are bruises all over her body and all of that. Some of the places that she stays in are quite nice hotel rooms. So the situation really is the act itself, the body invasion of that girl, which cannot be legislated away in any kind of fashion, because that's what customers are buying.
But it's also interesting because in your organization, there are so many young girls. I've heard you speak about girls as young as 9 or 10 or whatever. But what Ruchira's organization does, and that's one of the key issues, the people who argue about the fact that, well, if a woman is going to survive, isn't it better, to starve, isn't it better for her to at least have a life, even if that means through prostitution? And the important thing here to remember is that a lot of times it's not her choice. And a lot of times, because they are so young, because they have no access to education and self-reliance, or even, I got scared. Not only self-reliance or meaning like economic independence or anything like that, they feel trapped. But her organization gets these women out of these situations and rehabilitates them, gives them an education.
Yeah,
Maybe we should talk about that a little bit.
So the organization that I set up after making my documentary, The Selling of Innocence, is called Apne Aap, which means self-action. And we organize the women into groups of 8 or 10 members. mandalas, circles of women, and they are the Apne Aap Mahila Mandals. And we open community centers in which we have classrooms and a teacher. And what we try to do is help the women access services so that they can at least create their own exit strategies, and they have a support system, a safe space where they can go to. Like this girl, Anna, was running away and she didn't have a safe space to go to. So we make sure that there is accessible safe space inside the red light districts where they can actually come to if they want to exit and need help. But the other thing that we do is to make sure that we can break the cycle of intergenerational prostitution. You didn't see that in this movie, but very often what happens is the women become pregnant and children are born, and the people control the women by holding the children hostage. And as the children grow older, they often say, as the women age out, because exactly what you said, Linda, that the customers want younger and younger girls. And they're buying something which they think is innocence or freshness. So the younger the better. And the youngest I have met is a 7-year-old girl who hadn't even begun menstruating. And the average age of a girl being sold into prostitution is between 9 and 13 in India, and in the United States between 13 and 15. And funnily enough, because of this repeated body contact with multiple customers, what happens is that the women age out very quickly. And they begin to look old before their time, disease-ridden before their time, and then they're of no commercial value, so they're thrown out and pushed out of the brothel system or the prostitution system. And prostitutes earn the most on the first day in the job, which is something which most people don't understand. What did you say in your mind? Prostitutes earn the most on their first day in the job.